It's hard to distinguish between you sometimes.
Water is a human right, and of course water services have to be paid for, but not through a double tax on hard-pressed citizens. The water charges, coupled with other taxes and charges imposed by Fine Gael and Labour, will cripple households and families. And from the outset, Irish water has been marred in scandal. It's a toxic entity. It's become synonymous with everything that is wrong with this government: cronyism, political manipulation of state boards, threats to citizens, and escalating taxes on struggling families. So it cannot be left with responsibility for the delivery of water services in this state. It was revealed at the weekend that there are no records and no minutes available of important meetings that were held in 2012 between former Minister Phil Hogan and key players in Irish water. Now, this is extraordinary when you consider the scandal around the huge amounts of public money spent on consultants by Irish Water. And it's simply not believable that meetings took place involving the Minister and the Chairwoman of Bord Gáis about the establishment of a major new public utility, but that no minutes were taken at any of those meetings, no notes. And considering the issues at stake, I believe there needs to be an Oireachtas inquiry into this issue. Now, the Taoiseach has dismissed that, but that's the nature of this government. Right-wing governments behave in this way when they're under pressure. On the other hand, the real democratic revolution lies in the Right to Water campaign. It's a very genuine grassroots citizens' movement which has raised the political consciousness of communities across this state. The vast majority of protests have been family-friendly, good-humoured and very effective. They have succeeded in forcing major concessions from the government. There is a tiny minority, however, of groups and individuals who believe that the anti-water charges campaign is an opportunity for the promotion of their own ultra-left politics. Others see the protest as a platform against all politics, against all politicians, and in Garda Síochána. And their irresponsible actions do not reflect the views of the tens of thousands who have come out in protest against the imposition of this unjust tax. More importantly, their behaviour has played into the hands of the establishment, who use it to discredit the anti-water charges protests. Anti-water charges protests must be peaceful, must be safe, and must encourage the largest number of citizens to participate. And that's why I was so delighted to see so many people on the streets of Dublin on Saturday. Ultimately, the only way that water charges will be scrapped will be by a decision in government. And Sinn Féin is pledged to do that. Sinn Féin stopped the imposition of water charges in the north, and in government we will scrap them in this state. The government has for months claimed that the anti-water charges campaign is on its last legs. But the huge turnout on Saturday disproves that claim. And contrary to the government's assertions and the minister's protestations, citizens are more determined than ever on this issue. So why didn't the government listen? Instead of listening to the hundreds of thousands who have demonstrated, instead of scrapping water charges, anti-water charge protesters were jailed. Local authorities were forced to hand over details of tenants. Landlords were forced to do the same. €650,000 was wasted on a new advertising campaign. 85 million of public monies was given to private consultants. 539 million was wasted on water meters. And today the Taoiseach made clear that he supports Minister Kelly and his threat to take water charges from the people's wages or social welfare payments. I agree with that part of this motion that calls for water charges to be ended and for water to be in public ownership, and for these to be made central issues in the forthcoming general election if it's not resolved before then. However, the motion also calls for a boycott by householders of water charge bills. That is not the Sinn Féin position. We will support those who cannot pay, as well as those who have decided not to pay. But our position is the one adopted by the Right to Water campaign, and that is not to call for a boycott. And this is for a very good reason. We have seen in the past, both north and south, the folly of political leaders advising householders not to pay certain taxes, though unjust, yet being unable to defend these same citizens when the government, as it has threatened to do this week, drags people through the courts. So what we will do is offer serious, principled political leadership which offers an alternative to austerity and which actually defeats this tax. We advocate the immediate repeal of water charges legislation, and it would be interesting to hear if Fianna Fáil, which created water charges in the first place, will make that commitment. We advocate the holding of a constitutional referendum to keep water services in public ownership, and the dismantling of Irish Water and its replacement by a new model of governance, funding and delivery within full public ownership and democratic control and accountability. No one should be in any doubt, last Concordia, water charges can be defeated and water charges will be defeated. What we need to do is to maintain the unity of the Right to Water campaign and the determination of citizens who are showing the rest of us the way forward.
Could I ask you, Deputy, to move that the debate be adjourned?